You're listening to Just Hit Play with your hosts, Peter and Nick Cabral. If you're tired of your stagnant, streamed music feed, then strap yourselves in for an intergenerational sonic journey through Peter and Nick's favorite songs.
Before we begin today's podcast, our good friend Braden Much, who recorded our theme song, had a baby this week, Amelia Janice Much. So in honor of our good friend having a baby, we're going to let him open today's show. Take it away, Braden.
You come from far away just to find me hanging around. Met in the city, babe. Now you wanna live in the town and you wanna house. Babe, with so many kids, I'm a guitar playing man. This is where the money is, and I got you, baby. I don't need anybody else, and I've got you, and I've got something. All those times I tried to find myself, you gave me well everything like it was nothing. To keep it simple and plain. Oh, please no games. I won't ever ask you, baby, to name anything. All those other guys, well, they don't have you now. All that matters is you stay with me anyhow. 'Cause I got you, baby, I don't need anybody else now. I got you, and I've got something. All those times I tried to find myself, you gave me everything like it was nothing, nothing. I've got you, baby, I don't need anybody else, and I got you, and I've got something. All those times I tried to find myself, you gave me everything like it was nothing, nothing.
Welcome to episode 42 of Just Hit Play. I'm your host, Peter. With me is my co-host, Nick. Nick, how are you?
I'm doing excellent. It's weather's finally starting to turn. We've got some sunny days, a lot of melting going on. The big melt's happening. We've reached 0 degrees, even 1 degree, I think.
Wow.
So we're very excited here about that, and it's just it's good vibes. You know, I really like this time of year when spring is just around the corner. It just always has me in a good mood. So
you know what I always tell people here in Australia is springtime is this really interesting time in Canada because yes, the weather's warming up and 5 degrees feels like it's 30 degrees, but the entire country smells like dog shit because as the snow melts, the dog shit has been kept frozen and perfect, and then all of a sudden you'd be walking and you just smell dog shit for some reason, and it's really fresh dog shit that's been kept over the winter.
Yeah, it's a dangerous time to go walking around a park or something.
Yeah. So yeah, if you go to Canada in the springtime, it'll smell like dog shit.
Most likely, but it's funny you mentioned that 5 degrees feels like 30 because yesterday I checked the weather and saw it was 3 degrees and I was like, oh, I don't need my winter coat. I'm good. And we just go out in a raincoat or something. Yeah,
but come like fall, 3 degrees, you're like, oh my God, it's freezing.
Yeah, that's when the park is getting busted out.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah. No, I miss the transitions of weather. It doesn't get that cold here. It just stays.
You guys just go from no rain to lots of rain. It sounds like.
Yeah. It was supposed. There was a storm that was supposed to hit a couple days ago, but it just sort of came and went. It just didn't happen. So we do not need more water at this point. So it was good that rainstorm didn't come in.
Yeah, I'm happy for that. Then you guys definitely don't need any more.
No, we do not. And in our Brisbane studios is our engineer, Darren. Darren, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
All right. Thank you, Darren. Nick, I really dug this song that you got me to play, so go for it. Tell me about it.
Yeah, well, I'm really happy you liked it because I can't wait to dive into this one. So this week we're listening to Heavenly Father by Isaiah Rashad with a guest appearance from SZA doing the hook. It's a really, really phenomenal, moody Southern rap song. And Darren, why don't you just hit play so we can talk about it?
Now everybody telling me a lie. Lord, they give me something for my soul. See, I don't want to think of suicide.
So, you said you really like this song. Before I talk a little bit about Isaiah Rashad and what he's about, who he is, and why I like him, why don't you just give me your thoughts on Heavenly Father?
I really liked it because, which is not very typical in a lot of hip-hop songs, it's very vulnerable.
Exactly.
And what I like too is Isaiah actually means God is salvation, and that's what the name Isaiah means. And it's funny that the song's called Heavenly Father. We can play into the meaning of his name and the title of the song. But yeah, I love, and I'll go into, and I've talked about this before, how much I hate Christian music. And we'll go into a little bit of that later. But yeah, I thought it was so vulnerable. He was laying himself out bare, and talking about a lot of his vices and things that he doesn't want to do anymore and things that he does. So yeah, I dug the song. I thought it was perfect. Go for it.
I love that you picked up on that introspection, that you appreciated it, because to me that's what makes Isaiah Rashad so special, and that's what sets him apart from other rappers making similar music, from his peers. It's that level of vulnerability that he's willing to lay his soul bare for our enjoyment, really. And it's really awesome. And all of his music is like this, to varying degrees of like heaviness and stuff. Some is more light, but yeah, he's got a phenomenal catalog. And I mentioned he's a Tennessee rapper. He's from Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Right.
He's actually signed to the same label as Kendrick Lamar and SZA, which is called Top Dog Entertainment.
Yep.
And he hasn't had a very long career, or a very prolific one. He first started getting some attention, some buzz in 2012 when he went on tour with Juicy J, who's also from Tennessee, member of 3 6 Mafia. And then after that tour, he was signed to the TDE label in 2013. And then 2014, he released his debut album, Sylvia Demo, which is where Heavenly Father comes from. Sylvia Demo is without a doubt one of the best hip-hop projects to come out in the 2010s, at least in my opinion. But I think anyone who's listened to it would agree. It's a really, really special album, and I came across it just by when I was looking to get more into hip-hop, and I wanted to educate myself on what was out there, the best projects. I literally, as I'm prone to do, I googled best hip-hop projects of the decade, and this was on every list.
Right. Okay.
So yeah, he's just a phenomenal rapper, and like I said, he's not a very prolific guy, and that's because it takes him a long time to put these albums out. He's only put 2 more out since Sylvia Demo, and that's mostly because of the vices he talks about on his music. In his music, he struggles a lot with mental health and with addiction, and so those have gotten in the way of his career before. But it's he just released an album last year, and he's going on tour. So
good.
hopefully things are going well for Isaiah. But yeah, that's just sort of his biography, and I'm sure you kind of picked up on a lot of the issues in the music.
Yeah. Have you seen Isaiah live at all, or are you going to try to see him live when he comes around?
I haven't, but I have tickets to see him in Guelph actually in May. He's coming to Guelph for some reason. So
Really, that's an odd place
yeah,
to go.
yeah. He did a full American tour last year, and then he's doing
Yeah.
just a Canadian one.
Right.
So I guess Guelph made the cut.
Okay. Well, there's a lot of people in Guelph. Guelph has grown a lot, I guess, in the last few years. So
Yeah, a lot of students, a lot of the
Yeah.
demographic for hip hop music in Guelph now. So
what is he playing, the biggest place you can play in Guelph, or is it a theater? What's he doing?
yeah, it's the Guelph Concert Theater. It's maybe like a 2,000 person room or something at
Okay,
most.
cool.
Yeah, I've seen a couple shows there, and honestly, it's a really nice venue. I always prefer those smaller, more intimate settings for concerts. So
Yeah.
I'm actually really excited to see him there as opposed to like a club in Toronto or something.
Sure. Yeah, I think what I talked about, the vulnerability of the song, is what I really dug. I like the chorus where I think the singer says, "Heavenly Father, why did you go away?" or something similar to that.
Why are you so far away?
Why are you so far away? Thank you. And I think the problem that I've always had with Christian music, I think the devil got the better musicians.
True.
The devil definitely got the musician, and God sort of got the angels, which aren't very good. Again, I'm an atheist, so I'm going to preface this by saying I'm an atheist. I'm not a Christian, so I'm not going to like the message of Christian music very much. But here's my problem with Christian music. God is a very elusive thing, and I cannot think of modern Christian music that doesn't talk about God not being there or not connecting to God. It's always this very uplifting, happy, God is
all around us.
God is all around us, and it's so boring. God is not always around us. I'm assuming people of faith they question their faith at times, and they question God's existence. Just don't be afraid to use that. That's what soul music is. It's using that vulnerability that you have, that we all have in humanity. Johnny Cash, who is definitely a Christian, would often write about very dark, disturbing things. His cover of "Hurt," for example, is a very dark and sad song. He would always sort of delve into his personal demons and his past. But my God, Christian music is so boring. It's so boring.
It turns into a lot of just the same stuff.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it becomes the same subject matter.
Yeah.
And there's only so many different ways you can put a spin on that or freshen it up.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's what's great about this song is he's willing to be vulnerable, and in the chorus hints at questioning his faith or wondering why God is so far away. Why has he left me? Why do I have these issues?
Yeah.
And that it's like you said, it's just really refreshing to use that vulnerability and couple it and tie it into your faith.
Yeah.
And it also, the chorus about Heavenly Father being so far away, it doubles as him asking why his own father is absent. He grew up, Isaiah grew up with an absent father figure. He's in his music, he talks about how he's never really had a father figure, period. Someone to sort of guide him or give him advice, or someone he can go to when he's got all these issues and problems going on. So it's a really good double entendre, really. Wondering why is my own father so far away, and why do I also feel like I've been neglected by God, despite being a believer.
Well, not to get too far into it, even Jesus Christ on the cross asked why God had abandoned him. So if your savior can also feel the absence of God, that's a pretty cool thing to sing about and talk about. I think the problem with Christian music too is they wouldn't get the airplay, or they wouldn't get on Christian radio if they had released a song questioning their beliefs. It has to be this positive affirmation on God is love and God is peace and all this bull that they have to sing about, or they just don't get played, or their parents won't let kids listen to it.
Absolutely. Like it's really, you have to in order to, like you said, get that airplay, get on the Christian music playlists, you have to sort of stick to the script. So that's why we don't see these artists straying from that. And I get it. Like, there's a lot of money in making Christian music, especially in the southern US, where that's really, really popular. But
it is,
it's really nice to see someone taking risks. And
Absolutely.
I think a lot of the time where we see that, at least now, where we see Christian themes, but in an alternate light, is a lot of the time now in hip hop music.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's not just Isaiah Rashad making songs where he addresses questioning his faith. Off the top of my head, Kendrick Lamar is another rapper. He talks about that a lot in his music. JID, J. Cole.
Yeah.
Christianity is very prevalent in the Black community, and hip hop being a predominantly
in Southern hip hop too.
And Southern hip hop, absolutely. And hip hop being a genre where the majority of artists are Black, the Christian experience is very closely connected to a lot of these hip hop artists.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they're still an outsider in the sense where they're not getting put on the Christian music stations. They don't have to worry about making music that fits the Christian agenda, because a lot of the times those people who listen to Christian music have already written off their whole genre.
Yeah.
So they really then have a chance to open up and speak honestly about their faith and their experiences.
No, and who's that rapper that released a country song? The gay rapper, I can't remember his name off the top of my head.
Lil Nas X.
Thank you. When that song was released, it charted on the country music charts until it was removed from the country music charts. There's a little bit of racism in there as well. If you're a Black artist and you want to make it on the Christian music scene or the country music scene, there's a line you have to toe.
Absolutely.
You can't be seen as dangerous. You can't be seen as being provocative. You have to toe a very, especially people of color, you have to toe a very specific line.
Yeah, no doubt. But there's a luxury afforded to Isaiah here where he doesn't have to toe that line.
Exactly,
and
which is great.
Being on the label he's on, TDE, that Kendrick is a part of, SZA, Schoolboy Q, J-Rock, all really good rappers. And what I love about this label and the artists and how they manage their artists is they really value quality over anything else.
Yeah.
Isaiah Rashad took, I believe it was 4 years. He averages like 4 years in between releases. And on any other major label, that really wouldn't fly. You're not paying the bills if you're not releasing music.
No.
But they always give their artists the space to really hone in and perfect a really good creative product.
Yeah.
And that shines especially in Isaiah's music because it comes from a really deep place within his own soul that requires a lot of introspection.
Yeah.
To come up with these lyrics. And it's not something you can rush. It's not something you can commercialize either.
Well, hip hop is the sound of rebellion. If you look back at NWA and Public Enemy, they definitely did not hold back. They confronted very specific issues, and they made money. And they made songs that were easily accessible to the masses to some degree, but they definitely did not hold back in the message that they were giving. So I like that kind of music where you have a point of view, be it popular, be it not popular, and you sing about it or you rap about it. Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. And aside from even just the lyrical content of Isaiah's music, it's also just like, it's a really nice vibe or sound. I feel it's pretty chill, really, really well produced. It sounds great in the car. It sounds great in your headphones. You can listen to his music when you're going for a late night drive. You can listen to it on a sunny day. You can listen to it by yourself with a glass of whiskey if you want.
That's awesome.
It's really good, and you can choose to either just focus up maybe on the production and just sort of chill, nod your head, or you can hone in on the lyrics and be like, damn, he's talking about some really real stuff here.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought up the lyrics, actually, because you sent me 2 links to the song. You sent me the link to the music video, which I like music videos. And then you also sent me a link to the lyrics. And I'm very glad about that, because sometimes when you watch a music video, for me at least, I don't know about anyone else, I can sometimes, the meaning of a song or what he's actually saying sort of gets a little bit lost in the mix. I don't really concentrate on what is being said mostly. I just sort of get into the vibe. But that link you sent me where the lyrics were visible, I actually watched that a few times, and I was like, wow, that's really deep what he's going through. So it really reinforced, to me at least, what the artist was actually singing about.
Yeah, absolutely. It's I always like when I listen to a lyrical hip hop artist for the first time, I always like to have the lyrics up and
Right.
sort of read along, because sometimes you just can't catch everything. But
No, and I think that's, purposeful at times as well.
Yeah,
it's
for
more
sure.
it's more about the beat or the vibe or the feeling, and what the song's about may be a little bit less more important at the beginning, I guess. Yeah.
What I love about Isaiah again is that I find he really does a great job of balancing his music. So
Yeah.
the vibe is equally as important as the lyrical substance, and that's rare. It's rare to find someone who gets that balance, but in my opinion, he certainly hits it, and that's why I love him. And I'm glad you like this song too.
Yeah. Again, we've talked about this in the past. Hip hop is at a very interesting place where it's now culture. It's not counterculture anymore. I'm curious where hip hop is going to go in the next few years. You even had, like, now you think about it, even when the Super Bowl was on and you had all those artists playing the Super Bowl, that was almost like a classic rock element of hip hop coming out, when you had, Dr. Dre and Eminem and Snoop Dogg. They're sort of like the classic rock aspect of hip hop, and the crowd loved it because we love nostalgia, right? We love to we love to remember what it felt like back in the 90s.
Yeah. For the generation that grew up in the 90s, or had their formative years, then that's like seeing Guns N' Roses come out and play "Sweet Child of Mine."
It's exactly the same thing. You're right.
Yeah.
We're at hip hop's at a very interesting place. I'm waiting for the punk movement of hip hop to come out. But again, I won't know about it at first because I'm not in the scene. So you'll have to tell me when the punk movement starts in hip hop. So you have to let me know about that one.
No, honestly, I think we're sort of in its early days. So we'll see what I can queue up going forward.
Let's do it. That's perfect. All right. Let's ask Darren what he thought of the song Heavenly Father.
Yeah, Darren, what are your thoughts?
Does nothing for me.
Cool. All right. Thank you.
Thanks,
Darren, are you ready to get into some Ramones?
Absolutely.
Okay. I love the Ramones. Judy is a Punk is one of my particular favorite songs. That clocks in a minute and a half. It's not a long song, and we'll get into the Ramones and their song lengths as well. I always find it fascinating with the Ramones how T-shirt sales versus album sales is very different. They sell a lot more T-shirts than they've ever sold records. 100%. So that's always funny with me in the Ramones. But before we get into it anymore, let's hear Judy is a Punk. Darren, just hit play.
1, 2, 3, 4. Jack is a punk, Judy is a run. We both put down a balance on the hearts to fight. I know I don't know why. Oh, I don't know why. My turn die. Oh yeah, my turn die. Oh yeah, my turn die. Oh yeah, my turn die.
All right, Nick, what did you think of Judy is a Punk by the Ramones?
Fantastic. I really, really like this song. It's, like you said, it's only a minute and a half.
Yeah.
But it's a tight minute and a half. Like, it's a solid minute and a half of just that pure, unbridled punk energy.
Yeah.
And that's the stuff I really love.
Yeah.
Is that balls to the wall, let's throw everything at it, create a wall of sound, and get some fuzzy electric guitar going. That I really, really love that type of music, and this is no exception to that. I thought it was great.
So when the Ramones first started, they were not very good musicians, and the argument could be made is that they've never been good musicians. Punk is about attitude, it's about the vibe of the music. So they'd be booked to play an hour set, and they'd be off the stage in 20 minutes. Because on this album, this song's from their debut album. The longest song on the album is 2 minutes and 30 seconds.
Damn.
Yeah. Every other Every other song clocks in about a minute and a half to 2 minutes. So they could get through a set pretty quickly.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah. So and then there's a club you've probably heard of it called CBGB's. Have you heard of CBGB's? So CBGB's is a club in New York City where the punk movement started. You had the Talking Heads played at CBGB's. You had the Ramones playing at CBGB's. Blondie. There's a band called Television. All these early influencers all played CBGB's, and it was a dirty club. Like it was never a glamorous thing. Punk bands played there because they could, because no one would put the Ramones on stage other than CBGB's.
Sticky floors and hepatitis in the bathroom and everything. Like you touch a surface, you get Hep A through Z.
And the weird thing about CBGB's is that it's a country bar. So CBGB stands for Country and Blues and Grass Blues. That's what CBGB stands for. And they would have, I think it was Thursday night, they would have like a punk night every other night of the week until CBGB's became this punk icon. It was always country music. So yeah, it was only one night a week where they actually could play. Like, can you imagine the same bill? You could see the Talking Heads, Blondie, and the Ramones play a small, dirty, shitty little club in New York City.
That would be phenomenal.
Yeah,
like those are. I mean, I love the Talking Heads. I really love them.
Yeah. So we're talking like 74, 75 when CBGB's was sort of going, when you had these bands starting out at this club.
That is so cool to think of.
Yeah.
Wow.
So the Ramones loved the Beach Boys and the Beatles. Early Beatles, not the late Beatles, like the early pop gum, bubblegum Beatles. You can hear it in their songs. These are just pop songs, just played very, very fast and with a lot of fuzz. These are just Beach Boy songs, really.
I definitely see the Beach Boys.
Yeah, it's just pop songs played incredibly, incredibly fast.
Really good point. It really is just that.
That's all it is. That's all the Ramones were. They were just a pop band dressed in black leather, playing music as fast as they could.
Yeah. And I'm not sure I haven't heard many of their other songs, but this one, very little lyrics to speak of. So is that sort of a consistent thing? Okay.
That is correct. Yeah.
And I was wondering, in this song, Judy's Punk, they talk about the Ice Capades. What are those? And the SLA in San Francisco, like these groups they're joining.
The Ice Capades. Have you ever heard Disney on Ice? That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That's sort of the Ice Capades, is where you get like former Olympic skaters, and they would do like shows for the public. When they would retire from the Olympics, they would then go into the circuit where they would go around the country or around the world and just perform for mass audiences. But the pressure would be off, and it'd be more about having fun and kitsch and costumes. And so that's what the Ice Capades. The SLA, if I'm not mistaken, and if I'm wrong, please comment on Instagram or Facebook. I think it was like a terrorist group. I think that's what it was. Again, I'm just riffing off the top of my head. I think that's what the SLA was. But the song is nonsense. It's not based on any facts. Yeah.
I kind of got that impression. Like, it's just for the vibes, the aesthetic, the punk aesthetic.
Yeah.
The repetition that's throughout the song. Perhaps they'll die or whatever. I think they're saying over and over again. Yeah. It's really just meant to float on top of the layer of heavy guitar and super fast drums, but it creates a really cool sound in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, how the Ramones got their name is quite interesting as well. When Paul McCartney of the Beatles would check into a hotel, his pseudonym he would use was Paul Ramone.
Ah, okay.
And that's where they got the Ramones from, was from Paul McCartney's pseudonym.
So they're really big Beatles fans then.
Big
Beatles
fans.
Really big.
So the founding members of the Ramones were Joey, Johnny, Dee Dee, and Tommy. And if you joined the Ramones, you then had to change your last name to Ramone.
Naturally, as you do.
none of these people were brothers. They weren't even related, but they were all Ramones. So it was Joey Ramone, Johnny Ramone, Dee Dee Ramone, and Tommy Ramone. Like that's how they were known.
Damn, I actually like assumed that they were all brothers. That's really interesting.
No, there's been a lot of Ramones. A lot of people have left. The only members that have consistently been there are Joey and Johnny. Joey is the lead singer. Joey Ramone is the really gangly, very, very tall lead singer who passed away in 97, I think. He was, Joey and Johnny were the only two members who, by the way, hated each other. Absolutely hated each other.
I feel like that's almost customary for a lot of bands at the time. There's always some drama, some beef.
Well, Johnny didn't visit Joey in hospital when he was dying and didn't attend his funeral. And he said, why would I attend a person I don't like's funeral? Something like that.
Okay, yeah, they had real beef.
Yeah, Johnny also stole Joey's girlfriend while they were on tour together. So she went from being Joey's girlfriend to Johnny's girlfriend while on tour.
That'll do it.
That'll do it.
That'll do it.
Yeah. And Joey wrote a song about that incident called "The KKK Took My Baby Away," which is about him losing his girlfriend to Johnny Ramone.
That is hilarious. That's an incredible song name, and knowing that it's about that's so good.
Yeah,
I love that.
So this is the infancy of punk. This is how punk music started. So we listened to a few episodes ago. We listened to Iggy Pop and the Stooges with "I Want to Be Your Dog." So that is also a heavy influence on the punk movement. But this is the infancy of punk. This is where punk started. Is the Ramones.
So the Violent Femmes, for example, would have been big Ramones fans.
Absolutely, yeah. The Ramones influenced everyone from the Sex Pistols, who, by the way, we're going to listen to next week, and the Clash, to U2, to David Bowie. You name it. They influenced them. Yeah,
that's really cool.
Yeah,
I've only ever known them. They did Blitzkrieg Bop, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it's the only Ramones song I think I would have known before listening to this one. It is a great song. It was on the first Rock Band game. That's how I.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, I liken Judy as the punk when the first verse ends, he goes, and then Joey goes, second verse, same as the first.
Yeah, and then third verse, little different.
Yeah.
I like that. When I caught that on one of my listens, I was like, "Oh, you clever bastards!"
Yeah. So I love Judy as a punk. It's a great song, and like I said, the Ramones didn't sell a lot of records. They sold a lot of T-shirts. But no records. They made money, but they made money later in their careers. When they were around in the 70s, they weren't making much money.
They were just ahead of their time.
They were exactly ahead of their times.
They were creating the sound, and it's tough to be in that position as an artist because it'll take a while for you to get that recognition.
Yeah. No, I'm glad you liked it because I think Judy's a Punk is such a nice little classic punk song. Yeah.
No, I really did like it. It's got great energy, fun to listen to. It's nice and short, so you can run it back a few times. It's a great song.
And it's at a minute and a half. That's about right. It shouldn't go on much longer than that.
No. Like normally, I think 2 minutes 30 seconds is like the sweet spot for a lot of songs when it's just sort of that punky, nothing but energy, fast paced. I think 2:30 is good, but this song, minute 30 max.
Yeah, no, you're right. It's perfect. That's the length it should be, and there should be no extended mixes. There should be no disco cuts or club mixes. This is it.
Nope.
No, just play a minute and 30, and then let's get off the stage, right? Yeah.
Exactly. So good on the Ramones. They knew what they were doing, even if the rest of the world didn't know it yet. They knew what they were doing.
Darren, what did you think of Judy as a Punk?
Love it. I love the second verse, same as the first line too.
All right, cool. Thanks, Darren. Now I teased it. I want to continue down this punk road, and I want to get you to listen to English punk. So again, we talked about. Music rock and roll started in America in the 50s and 60s, then went to England. England had their own interpretation of rock music, and then went back with the Beatles and the Rolling Stones and went back to America. So now we're going to get the punk rock scene started with the Stooges and the Ramones, And then it traveled to England and England's response to punk rock, which is the Clash and the Sex Pistols. So I want you to listen to a Sex Pistols song. Now,
awesome.
Have you ever heard Anarchy in the UK?
No, I have not.
Okay, good. I was going to get you to listen to it anyway. But so your song for next week is the Sex Pistols, Anarchy in the UK.
Okay, awesome. And for you next week, so brief backstory. About a year ago, it was the anniversary of The Weeknd, the pop artist The Weeknd, his first ever project releasing. It's the decade anniversary, and they did a repressing, a really limited edition repressing of the record of that.
Right.
And I ordered it about a year ago, and it finally got to me today.
Oh, that's awesome.
So I'm really super pumped about that. I love the album, and it gave me the idea to have you listen to the song High for This by The Weeknd from his very first album, before Blinding Lights, before the Super Bowl halftime show, before the fame and the pop music. This is the original Weeknd that I love the best.
Cool.
So I'm very curious to see what you think of not just the song, but how he's progressed as an artist.
I always joke whenever I'm in like out somewhere and a song comes on. I was like, "Oh, what Michael Jackson song is this?" And if I can't think of what Michael Jackson song it is, I was like, "Oh, it must be The Weeknd." Yeah,
you'll see what he was like before. Before that, we're gonna have a lot to talk about next week in terms of progression of his sound.
Awesome. Looking forward to it. Okay. And as you know, as we're on doing this podcast, we also have some channels where you can actually interact with us. If you want to go on Facebook or Instagram accounts, all linked in the show notes. Please come and say hi. Tell us what you think. We've had some really interesting and some really cool independent artists contact us recently about playing some of their music. So if you're an independent artist and you want us to play one of your songs, please get in contact with us and let us know. And before we get into our independent artists, let's talk about This Week in Music History. This Week in Music History. Okay, in 1973, it was still Killing Me Softly by Roberta Flack was still number one. So I found a song called Last Song by Edward Bear. Darren, just hit play. It's all that I can take. Yeah, that really sucked. It's really
good
bad.
It's his last song.
I wanted to play that specifically because in 1973, this song made it to number 3. After listening to this song, I want you to sort of understand why punk rock had to happen.
Yeah, no, they really needed to push that forward. They need to get the ball rolling. So good on the Ramones for stepping in, intervening.
Like this kind of music just had to be wiped off the face of the earth. So this made it to number 3. And in the year 2000, in your birth year, NSYNC are still number 1 with Bye Bye Bye, which is going to be number 1 for 10 weeks, unfortunately.
Fortunately, it's a good song.
10 weeks, though? I don't know. So we're going to listen to the number 2 song, which is called Amazed by the truly awful Lone Star. Now, you might have heard the song because I know your mom's she likes country music.
Mm-hmm.
So you might have heard the song. Darren, just hit play on Amazed by Lone Star.
Every time our eyes meet.
Yeah, I hadn't thought I heard that song before, but I was like, when the chorus sort of came in, I was like, oh, I think I've heard this at a wedding.
Yeah, like it sounds vaguely familiar, but not a good week in music history.
No, we both lost this week, unfortunately.
Yeah, there's no winners. There's no winners. But sometimes it's got to be like that.
Yeah, if you're a Lone Star fan, you're wrong. So you shouldn't be.
All 2 of them.
Yeah.
Maybe one of them is watching this podcast and they're upset.
How that song made it to number 2 in the year 2000 is, I don't know. It's just tripe. It's really bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just got rid of all our Lone Star listening fans. They've now removed us from their streaming sites.
Yes. Well, that's okay.
I'm
not too upset about it.
No, it'll be fine. We didn't want you anyway. Mm-hmm. All right, so going to our independent artists, but before we do that, I always forget. Nick, what are you up to this week? What do you got going on?
I'm actually going to this play that my roommate's brother is acting in
cool.
on Friday. Yeah, it's just at a theater in Guelph, but it's been getting pushed back a year because of COVID and whatnot. So it's been long in the making, this play, and I'm really excited to go check it out.
Oh, cool. That sounds like fun.
Yeah.
I'm working 5-6 days a week currently. I'm in my busy period for my photography work. So yeah, I'm going away in a couple weeks. I'm doing a country trip. So I've rented this huge people mover called the Kia Carnival. And it's just going to be me, but I have so much gear that I need to bring to this country trip. So I'm driving about 5 hours away. I have so much gear that I need to bring that I needed to rent the biggest van I could. That wasn't a cargo van.
Right.
And originally it was supposed to be me and this other guy who was going up, but he can't make the first day. So I'm going to have to do the first day on my own, which I'm not happy about. But so I've had to rent this huge van where I'm just going to have just so many planks and stands so I can put people onto. So yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So I get to see the country Queensland, as they like to call it.
Well, that should be fun.
I do like going for road trips.
Suck, but
yeah. Oh no, road trips around Queensland are fun. It's just that then I have to deal with people once I get there.
Well, and I don't know how I would feel about a road trip in a massive van like that, but you'll be fine.
Yeah, it'll be all right. All right, let's get to our independent artist this week, and I'm actually quite excited. So we have an artist called King Shampz, who reached out to us, as I said, and asked us to play one of his songs. And after listening to his music, I am a big King Shampz fan now. I think his music is really good. So I got him to send me a bit of a bio. So I'm just going to read it quickly, what he sent us. All right. Raised on the streets of West Philadelphia, Shampz and his younger brother Azon have been fine-tuning their music for about 6 years with a common goal to create hip-hop at its highest level. The young MC dropped All Hail the King in 2014, and it was off to the races from there. The mixtape was well received for its thought-provoking, streetwise lyricism and vintage production. Now, 8 years later, after several singles and writing for placements on websites like Medium.com and radio placements on stations like Sirius XM, Shampz got back into the tape mode for a 2020 release called Road to Peru, which was a collaborator with DJ Rick G's, who is Pusha T's DJ and is on iHeartRadio. And if you like trap music, you'll love King Shampz. I also found a review of one of his albums online, and so I'm going to post that review in the show notes as well. It talks about trap music and what King Shampz is up to and what kind of music it is. So
I just want to say I also I checked out King Shampz and this song and some of his other ones, and I really liked it. I think it's got a really cool sound. His rapping style reminds me a lot of the artists that are popular right now, like the Griselda guys, Westside Gun, Benny the Butcher, Conway the Machine, Boldy James. He reminds me a lot of that style of rapping, but on some really cool trap production. It's a really nice fusion of lyricism and trap, and I'm always cool with that. So I thought this is a great song, King Shampz. He's doing some cool stuff.
Cool. And as we've always said, if you find any of our independent artists' music to your liking, please add them to your streaming so they get paid correctly. Go on and just add King Shampz on Spotify or Amazon or Apple, whatever your streaming service is. Please add them to your playlist. And this is a song called Forbes. Not the full title of the song, but I'm going to call it Forbes because I can't actually say the full title. So this is King Shampz with the song Forbes. And Nick, we'll talk to you next week.
You got it.
Yeah, it's dead wrong. Murder Hill shit. Yeah, we Forbes niggas. Check it. Rolex, baby. I like the flex, baby. I'm up next, baby. So one dress lady. Maseratis and man Ferrari, so it's such a scene. They ain't never seen a nigga like Shampz and Dane. I get the cream, I'm not green to no fiend. We all vets, we carry Texas the murder team. Niggas know that we bout that. This set don't do chit chat. Get your shit pushed back, you play with my stat. It's like that. Pro ball to the images. Kilo after kilo, all my people got the stamina. Grab the work of Canada, ship the guns off the Panama. Strapped up in the Maybach, you roll up on me, I damage ya. You took the wrong route, this life will turn you out. G's hold it down, the rail never get out. Niggas do it for clout, I did it so I could sprout. Heard my young boy getting money down south. That ain't just word of mouth, we killing them in the drought. We ain't timid, we run the scrimmage, the crew ballin' out. Ain't that what it's all about? It ain't hard to find us. Hurtin' all they pockets, we flood them and read up. Niggas cop the Porsche, I'm fitting the speed up. Fuck the baddest bitches, niggas can't ease up. Wrist on frigid, get digits off white dust. To me, it's no limit, too hot for niggas to touch.
Chasing money, taking it all. Never hesitating, we ball. Yo, all of my bitches, they love the ball. Niggas take us, so get them motherfucking nigga in Forbes. Get the money, stack it on tour. Hustle coke and make it a store. We fly. All of my bitches, they love the ball. Niggas take us, so get them motherfucking nigga in Forbes.
I'm the wave drown, I'm in the house now. She wanna play round, I need a bust down. Love the way I talk, that's how my voice sound. I like the way she walk, she never out of bounds. I lock down them small towns, the shooters is around. Stay with rounds, they lay you down. You play with my crown, I'm a king who's really sings. Still serving the fiends, hollow split through your spleen. We haunt you in your dreams. In the bucks like a ring, won a chip for the rings. Made the right connects, I'm just doing boss things. You can get your wings if you take it there. Turn you Red Bull, I ain't got no fear. Tattoo tears don't add up to the years. We taking all the chances, so only farmers are stairs. All my diamonds is clear, you dealing with hustlers here. G5s in the air, watch a God just appear.
Chasing money, taking it all. Never hesitating, we ball. Yo, all of my bitches, they love the ball. Niggas take us, so get them motherfucking nigga in Forbes. Get the money, stack it on tour. Hustle coke and make it a store. We fly. All of my bitches, they love the ball. Niggas take us, so get them motherfucking nigga in Forbes.
You've been listening to Just Hit Play. To contact your hosts, Peter and Nick, or to be featured on an episode as musical talent, email justhitplay7300@gmail.com. Keep up to date with news and announcements by following on Instagram and Facebook, linked in the show notes. Subscribe on your favourite podcatcher to tune in next week for more sonic delights. And if you can't wait till then, check out the Just Hit playlist on Spotify, linked in the show notes. A special thanks to Braden Munch for the theme song, and thank you for listening.